Hey everybody, happy Thursday. I apologize, this is not coming to you live. I've pre-recorded this on Wednesday so that I can go camping with my family for the last few days of spring break. But I hope that doesn't slow you down in your interaction with this post and that you will still enter the giveaway and watch all the way through. Okay, so feel free to leave questions in the comments. I'm so happy to answer them. Today, we are talking all about TerraZyme. These are the digestive enzymes from doTERRA that are so incredible, you guys. I'm so excited. So as a holistic nutritionist, it's my favorite topic to make people feel well digestively. So we're going to talk about gut health today and tomorrow. The last 3 days, we've been talking about something also really important. If you've missed those, go back and watch why we want to take a multivitamin, an omega-3 DHA supplement, and an antioxidant blend, and how they fulfill your nutritional needs and help support your body on a cellular level. But for today and tomorrow, we're talking about how we can support our body digestively and how in turn that helps to support so many other systems in the body and helps us to function at our very, very best capacity. Okay, so first things first, doTERRA. They have formulated this digestive enzyme blend with 10 of the most popular food groups that we consume. First and foremost, okay, this is like a little soapbox. Did you know 75% of Americans are eating foods out of season? I think it's a higher number than that, but that's the number I was given from the Harvard something journal, okay? So 75%. I want you to think about that for a second. What does that mean? That means that when you go to the grocery store, you're buying foods that have been shipped from somewhere else, they've ripened in a container, and they were picked prematurely from the soil that they came from. What happens when food is picked prematurely from the soil? It lacks its enzyme content. Number one, remember that in your brain. If it doesn't have the enzyme quality that we need in order to digest that, and in order to turn it into energy, you're eating empty calories, you're just wasting your time. Okay, my mom pointed this out to me the other day. She said, oh my gosh, I had a cantaloupe the other day and I got the worst stomach ache from it. She goes, normally I eat cantaloupe and I love them. I love having them with prosciutto and it's like my favorite snack. And I said, Mom, did you eat it when it was ripe? And she said, well, it kind of feels like it was a little harder than usual and it was tough to chew. And I said, well, that's why you got a stomach ache, because if you eat something that isn't ripe, the fruit or the produce doesn't have the enzymes to help your body to digest it. 1, 2, your body doesn't have the enzymes to digest it because you are born with a certain number of metabolic enzymes and they deplete over time. The quality of your enzyme and metabolism, enzyme production and metabolic function depletes over time. So you need these exogenous enzymes and they come from food. But if we're not getting them from the foods we are eating, guys, that's why we need a digestive enzyme. Let me explain how they work, what they do, and why they're amazing. So first, how they work. They physically crunch and munch down, which sounds crazy, but they actually physically digest the food you're eating. And the second part, help your body so that it fuels it with nutrients from the foods that you are eating. So instead of robbing your body of all these nutrients when you're just eating it, your body's having a hard time digesting it and then pooping or peeing it out, you're taking these digestive enzymes 15 minutes, 10 minutes, if you can, at least try for 15 minutes before you eat that food. Then it is preemptively preparing your digestive system for this enzyme production to help that food go down there and actually get digested and go to work. Okay, now why that's important. Your body, as soon as you start eating something, produces enzymes in your mouth, in your GI tract, and in your stomach, okay? So as it's going through that enzyme production, if your body is lacking in those exogenous enzymes, then what's gonna happen is that food is going to get stuck in your intestinal tract, okay? And foods that are low in enzyme content, I talked about this the other day, but meat has no enzymes, 0, none. Any overcooked produce or vegetables that have been overheated and overcooked and they're super soggy, those also don't have enzymes to break down in your body, okay? So it doesn't even have to be super soggy. It can just be cooked at a like really high temperature, and it breaks down the quality of those living enzymes that are within those foods that help you to digest it and then help you to use it as energy. Okay, so now the second thing it does is it provides those nutrients to the body so that now you're being filled with that energy source so that you can use the food as stamina. Otherwise, it's just empty calories, and we don't want that. So what exactly is it doing other than that, which is kind of cool? These are other side benefits, which I love, is that if you have sensitivities to foods, like if you, 65% of Americans, this is another fun fact, 65% of Americans are lactose intolerant. So they have a really difficult time digesting lactose, okay? So they don't have the proteins or the enzymes in their digestive tract to break them down. So what happens is you take this digestive enzyme and you do it before you eat or consume that dairy product, and it's going to help the body to metabolize it, help it to digest, and help you to use it as energy. But for some of us, my dairy intolerance is a little bit more intense than that. Not just digestive upset, but things like I get skin irritations when I have dairy. So I'll get acne. Sometimes I'll even get scabs like on my scalp or my back or my chest and back of my arms, even my like bottom part of my arms. Or if it's really bad, I'll get like a breakout on my stomach too. So I try to avoid dairy in general, but sometimes it sneaks into recipes. So when I am out and about eating, even when they say it's dairy-free, you bet I am taking my digestive enzymes. This is legit, okay? I carry this around in my bag every single day. I never leave home without it. It has my enzymes in there. So in case I'm out eating somewhere and there's been cross-contamination, the same goes for gluten too. If you have celiacs and you know that you can't have gluten and you're out to eat somewhere and sometimes it like cross-contamination, if it was prepared on the same cutting board or something, then you have your TerraZyme. But for even people who don't have food sensitivities, digestive enzymes are incredible because it's going to help with acne, period. Because maybe you have a sensitivity to something that you don't even know about. Maybe it's like a small soy sensitivity, or maybe, who knows, there could be like anything, right? So it helps with acne. It helps with inflammation in the body, period. So you don't get that like bloating after you eat and grossness, and you just feel like fatigued and groggy because you ate some delicious meal and you're like, why do I feel tired? So if you take your digestive enzymes before you eat, it will help with that gut uncomfortableness. But the inflammation overall, so any kind of inflammation in the body, the enzymes will help to break that down. And this is kind of fun. So I am a big proponent of balancing hormones naturally. And guys, like this is the number one, probably, I would say if number one, but probably the number one product that I recommend to people, because the TerraZyme helps to balance your hormones naturally. You have 50 different hormones going through your body at one time. And the regulation of that can be altered by hormone disrupting things in our environment. And if you take a TerraZyme, it will help with the regulation, which if you want to learn more about that, you can take one of my classes on another day. But just to kind of give you an overarching little tidbit, make sure that you take them before you eat. So some people maybe have a sensitivity to enzymes and they get a stomach ache or something. It's a very rare scenario, but if that's you, you can take them after you eat. They're just not as effective. Okay, so if you started eating and you're like, shoot, I forgot to take my enzymes, still take them. Okay, they're still beneficial even if you started to eat. Okay, so the last thing I was going to touch on is, why is my lighting all weird now? Anyway, okay, the last thing I was going to touch on is, as a nutritionist, I get to work with people who have all sorts of issues. And I think the biggest reward from what I do is being able to help people with kids who have digestive issues. So here's what I do. I take, and I'm not going to do it because I don't want to make a mess, but I'll show you. You can see that it's in its powdered form, okay, inside this little veggie capsule. And I want you to open it up, like just pull it apart. It has an opening there. Pull it apart, and you can put it in your kids' food, and you can mix it in their food, and they can consume the TerraZyme and have digestive support that way. I had a client whose son had complications at birth, and they had to cut out part of his colon, and he has been on an excessive amount of prescription drugs to help him to poop because he has never been able to have one on his own without help with this prescription drugs. And so I got him on this TerraZyme. You guys, it's like brings tears to my eyes just thinking about how many lives this TerraZyme has impacted. And he's been able to do this naturally now for a long time. It's been over a year. So if you haven't considered being on a digestive enzyme, now is definitely the time. And to win today's giveaway, let me just make sure I don't get it wrong. So today's giveaway, it's Thursday. We are giving away the hydrating mist, and it smells so good, and I know you want it. So post a picture in the comments of you with your TerraZyme, your digestive enzymes. You can take a picture of your food with it or whatever. Just you at one meal today with a picture of the TerraZyme in your hand, and we will select a winner. I hope you're having so much fun during this week. We've been giving away some incredible prizes, and the week's not over yet. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.